Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching episode 5 of House of the Dragon. Just a little note that the last episode, I was feeling very under the weather and I had an allergic reaction and my tongue was slightly swollen, so I might have sounded lispy, but also kind of low energy, and I apologize. I think it was the right episode to actually be low energy because not a lot of action happened besides the action that happened. Uh it was quite a learning episode about our characters and a lot about their ambitions. That Damon was really trying. He was really trying to take his shot at almost manipulating his way to the throne. And we know Otto's kind of doing the same thing for his grandson. Like there's a lot of manipulating that Viserys picked up on in this episode that I'm very proud of him. But at the same time, oh boy, was it uncomfortable. Ooh, like it's just, the Targaryen way. It's very uncomfortable. So in the beginning, we see that Rhaenyra is on this tour, trying to select this mate that her father said, it's your choice. You get to have this choice. I'm going to set up this tour. Go and meet these people. Select your man. And, I don't want to say they're all duds because the young kid, like, he killed a guy, but I feel like he would have grown into a guy that you would have been proud to call husband at some point. Once he became of age. He's very young, but Rhaenyra isn't taking it seriously. She's bored. She doesn't really want to be there. And when she kind of points out like all the things that are wrong, like she's being very picky. I don't blame her. It's a big choice to make. But there weren't a lot of choices that were tempting from the few that we saw. So she cuts it short by 2 months, which does not make Viserys happy at all. But the two choices that were kind of presenting themselves in the last episode was Uncle Daemon and Sir Criston Cole. And I don't even mean for marriage, just for good times. Good times at King's Landing. She would have taken the former, but settled for the latter. Like she got in a mood. She was ready to use the energy that she had been storing up for like the past 20 minutes. When she's confronted with it, she has to tell everyone like, no, me and Daemon didn't do anything. Nothing happened. And yeah, while they didn't have sex, like something happened. Like something was happening there for sure. And she lies to Alicent, who she kind of was having a moment with earlier in the episode where they were kind of friends again and they were behaving that way. But then, when Alicent comes to her with this accusation, she's like, no, Daemon never touched me. Lie. His tongue was down your throat, girlfriend. He touched you. But yeah, okay, so they didn't do the deed. But then she does go back to her room and she's with Sir Criston Cole. So while she tells her father nothing happened, she's brought this tea from her father to kind of rid herself of a nuisance that could grow over the course of 9 months. It's kind of like almost admitting guilt if you drink it. And if you don't, it's because nothing actually happened. But like we know something happened, it just wasn't with Daemon. And Daemon returns to King's Landing kind of in a quite a fashionable way. On a dragon. He cut his hair, he's wearing a crown, but he does bend the knee to his brother after declaring himself king of the Narrow Sea. And I think that was a very touching moment for Viserys. Like it meant a lot for Daemon to do that in front of everybody. And then they embrace and they hug. And it seems like Daemon's a new man. It seems like he's matured, that he's changed. And then we see over the course of the episode that he's the same old Daemon that we know. Where he might have learned to manipulate a little bit easier and behave a little bit differently to kind of like be seen differently. He's still the same old Daemon. Or as I wrote down in my notes, pulls the same Daemon shit. I mean, he takes Rhaenyra to like a pleasure house, and at first, they see like this play that's reenacting the prince's birth, and it almost like is making a mockery of Rhaenyra and Alicent, and it's funny how the women get made fun of in this play. And I don't think that was by mistake. I think he wanted her to see that, to see how like the common folk view her and maybe view the whole situation, that it's like, kind of a soap opera to them and it's kind of ridiculous. But he, by taking her to the pleasure house, definitely, I think, wanted to be seen with Rhaenyra. He wanted people to see them together. He wanted people to see them doing this deed together. So then maybe he has a shot at the crown that way. And when he asks for her hand in marriage, he's like lying on the ground after he just got his ass kicked by his own brother. And he's like, well, then wed her to me. And it's just like, that was probably what you wanted, because if you did defile her, if you did sleep with your own niece, then definitely that would get you out of a pickle, would it not? But Viserys at this point, he's done. He's sick of his brother pulling this shit, and he banishes him again. He's like, get the hell out of here, get back to the Vale. I don't think that Daemon is going to linger in the Vale for very long. I definitely think that he is going to cause trouble from far away. He's not going to be gone for long, by any means. Again, I've been told that there's time jumps in the show, so it might be like 10 years goes by and they haven't talked to Daemon. I don't know, but like, I feel like he's not going to let it go. Now, Viserys finally admits that he knows that Otto has been manipulating him, and that like he even sees that Alicent was part of that manipulation, really pushing her towards him. And he relieves Otto of his duties as Hand of the King. What sucks about that is that even though we know Otto was manipulating him, the one thing that he didn't want to do was tell Viserys about what happened with Daemon and Rhaenyra. And he did anyways, and it was the truth, and he didn't try to push his own agenda, and that's what really bothered Viserys, was the actual truth. The one time Otto is being completely like transparent and like I don't want to tell you this, because you could tell he cares about him. You could tell that he like loves his king and loves his friend, but at the same time is just like, God, I just don't want to tell him this. And he does. And luckily, I don't know if it's luckily or not, but Alicent overhears it and tries to talk to Rhaenyra first. And while we thought they were kind of repairing their friendship in the beginning, she outright lies to Alicent. So, a lot of like friends that were once trusted friends are acquaintances. No longer trusted. I don't know who's going to replace Otto as Hand of the King. I still think that Lionel Strong would be a great idea. I don't know if that's going to happen or how that's even chosen, if it's just, the most trusted advisor that was after Otto, or if it's somebody completely new. Maybe even Lord Corlys? I feel like when he's told that Corlys's daughter Laena is going to marry the son of a Sea Lord of Bravos, that it kind of like sets off some alarms a little bit with Viserys, that like, oh crap, like he's making a move. And I feel like extending a marriage for Rhaenyra and Laenor would help bridge that gap, but then maybe even trusting Corlys a little bit more would bridge it even further. I'm not sure. I don't know. That could be a horrible idea. It could be the best idea I've ever come up with. It just really depends on who is going to manipulate the king less, and who is going to always have the king's best interest at heart, which I think is Lionel Strong, 100%. So now Rhaenyra is promised to Laenor, and I think it's a great pair. It's great houses. I'm sure she's going to love it. But she says, she tells her father, I will marry him, and you're going to do your duty. And that's when he gets rid of Otto as Hand of the King. And I think that reminding them of what their duties are and what they have to do and give up for the crown, because of the crown, and in what they have to do for the realm and for the kingdom and just for everything, that they have to do these duties. And I don't think anyone loves that. But she had a choice to keep going with the tour and pick her mate, and she didn't. Whoops. But I think it'll be fine. I think fine. Sure, it'll be fine. But I think that Laenor is still a good match, because he is a dragon rider, she's a dragon rider. Like, they already have that in common. I think that she's a strong-headed girl. He comes from Corlys and Rhaenys, so I'm sure that he's also very strong-headed. They might butt heads there, but also being Rhaenys's daughter-in-law, they had that moment where they were kind of discussing like doing their duties. And I wonder if we're going to get more of those conversations, because I loved those two talking together. Okay, guys. So excited to kind of move on from The last episode, I would like to see, because everyone keeps talking about the time jumps that happen throughout here, and for me to pay attention to that. But I would be excited to kind of get out of this era of House of the Dragon and kind of move forward, where a lot of these alliances and marriages have already happened, and where we're watching them evolve after they've kind of matured a little bit. I don't necessarily need to see the seeds planted all the time. Just the blossoming of the fruit. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Whenever there's a sky, I'm like, dragon! Oh, not yet. Is that dragon stuff?
Tomorrow, Lady Rhea.
Cousin?
No. Oh, wait, are we in the Vale? Is this Daemon?
Husband?
That's the wife he doesn't want to be with? She's stunning.
The Vale sheep might be willing, even if I'm not.
Ooh.
Our
Okay.
sheep are prettier, after all.
So she doesn't want him.
Cast you aside in favor of a little girl.
She's mean. Oh! He wants to be free so he can marry whomever? Oh my god, I did not see that coming. They really don't like each other, so it's fine, whatever.
I knew you couldn't finish. Craven!
Oh my, oh my. That was a cut. Goodness. I did not foresee that happening whatsoever. Well, why are you outside if you're gonna throw up? I guess to do that. He is the hand. Well, that looks miserable. I mean, I love weather like that. It just looks really wet. Lots of mud.
Your informant was wrong. An honest mistake, perhaps, but I did not foresee this.
You should have.
If you had not been so relentless in advancing Aegon as heir.
She got a point.
The king will die. And if Rhaenyra succeeds him, war will follow, do you understand? And to secure her claim, she'll have to put your children to the sword. She'll have no choice.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You're no fool, and yet you choose not to see it.
But if you didn't push her into that marriage, she wouldn't be in this position.
Lord Laris.
Malvales,
Oh,
Rare
that's
Bloom.
the hand's son?
The weather has been lovely.
Indeed. And yet it is a dark day for the realm. Your father was a good man.
As is yours, who took his place.
Better man.
I have no shortage of allies.
Naturally. Princess Rhaenyra, for example.
State your purpose, my lord.
Yeah, get on with it.
It's just that on the very same night your father was dismissed, the Grand Maester delivered a tea to the princess's chambers.
Tea
Yes.
that the Grand Maester himself brought.
Oh, I knew that was going to be an issue.
What happiness it is to have been wrong.
Now I don't know if I can trust Lionel Strong because his son is very twisty. I mean, I don't know. Would Rhaenyra admit to Alicent about Kristen? Kind of makes me wonder.
Your Grace.
It's a very cold reception.
May I offer you a chair?
Cousin.
Yeah, he doesn't have many digits left.
Daemon's wife, the Lady Rhea Royce, has passed.
A hunting mishap.
It's always a hunting mishap.
Lady Rhea was a fine woman and a good wife to my brother.
Sad thing that she and Daemon have no heirs to succeed her.
Mayhaps we can turn toward happier pursuits. Thank
What
you.
did you have in mind, Your Grace?
Oh, he hasn't talked to them about it.
I wish to propose a marriage between your son, Selena, and my daughter and heir, the Princess Rhaenyra.
You honor both me and my house, Your Grace. There are certain details I would wish clarified before the
Oh boy.
Princess Rhaenys and I could accept this most generous proposal.
What details?
I really like Corlys. I'm not gonna lie.
We would like to know how the succession will be handled.
Yeah. Tricky.
Can I presume that their children would take their father's name? That they would be born Valarians?
Surely, Lord Corlys.
Okay.
You are not proposing the Targaryen
No.
dynasty end with my daughter simply because she's a woman.
Oh my, I didn't think of that.
At such time when their firstborn ascends the Iron Throne, he or she will do so bearing the name Targaryen.
Fair.
This is an equitable compromise.
Ooh. That could have gone a completely different way. They don't believe in hyphenating?
I hold nothing against your cousin.
He's cute.
There are those who like goose very well.
I find it a bit greasy for my taste.
Ooh.
I know that whatever agreement being struck up there will not change your appetites, nor will it change mine.
Wait, is it because he likes men? Is that what she was getting at? Very slow on the uptake there.
That we perform our duty to our fathers and to the realm, and when it's done, each of us dines as we see fit.
Yep, confirmed.
She's grown quite comely these last few years.
You know his true nature.
He's still young. He will outgrow it.
Mm-mm.
You were robbed of the crown.
I never wore the crown, because the realm would not have it so.
And I would remedy that small-minded error by any means necessary.
I myself have put the business behind me, Corlys.
I adore Corlys. How many times do I have to say that? I love them as a couple. I love them.
I've always feared the day you'd have to marry a woman. Now it comes.
His boyfriend's name is Joffrey. Really?
You're a fool.
Oh, that's how it starts.
You'll need a sworn protector.
Eh? Oh. It's always stories about people in love with people they can't have. Or wanting people they can't have. This feels like love.
She has a paramour of her own.
Is it Kristen? Are there feelings there? Because I wouldn't tell that man no. That is a tasty looking man right there.
Are you asking for leave?
I'm asking you to come with me.
She can't do that.
A marriage does not have to be the end.
Cake and eat it too. That's not what he wants.
So you want me to be your whore?
Yeah, damn.
I've soiled my white cloak. It is the only thing I have to my fucking name.
Good for you, Kristen. Stand up for yourself.
So, Kristen,
Yeah, she fucked around. Now she found out. They both did. I mean, I don't know if he had a choice. I feel like he almost didn't have a choice. I wish he would come, like, clean to Alicent about Sir Kristen. That way Alicent would know, at least a little bit, that, like, she didn't actually do anything with Daemon. Still not the whole truth, but at least 90% of it.
So, Kristen, you've been summoned. The Queen.
Why would she summon Kristen?
I fear I must question you on a delicate matter, Sir Kristen.
Will he admit to it? Will he get in trouble for that?
My father received an accounting of a lapse of morals that may have occurred.
Would he say something? Would he get in trouble?
Breaches in resolve. Breaches, or rather lapses.
It happened, Your Grace.
What happened? Daemon? Or him?
The sin you allude to. I have committed it. My oath has been broken. I deserve no consideration.
Alicent.
I would ask only this. That rather than gelding me and having me tortured, you would sentence me mercifully to death.
I don't want any of that. Yeah, you know what you just did, Alicent?
You may go.
Well, what happens now? Yeah, it was never about you. Oh, God, he just admitted that to her. I don't want him to die. Can't he just run away?
I took the liberty of preparing a fresh set of herbal poultices that might be more effective.
That will not be necessary or while.
Maybe try the herbal remedy? They work well for me. Oh my God. He's like rotting. Hopefully it's a sleeping potion, not like Tears of Lys.
Will I be remembered as a good king, Lionel? There is a part of me wishes I'd been tested.
Many that are tested only wish to have been spared it.
Yeah, grass is always greener.
It is perhaps best not to know.
So pretty! Are they arriving for the wedding?
This is the start of the royal wedding celebrations.
Oh, the dragons! Ooh, look at her hair.
You have made a fine match for the princess.
Thank you, Lord Jason. I could think of no better man than Selena.
Well,
Ouch. Ouch.
This is why men wage war. Because a woman would never be ready for the battle in time.
Your presence is always such a pleasure, Lord Jason.
Princess.
Said with such
Your
disdain. Ugh, you slime. I like that look between father and daughter.
If there is anything the crown might do to aid House Royce or to...
What does this mean?
Lord Corlys of House Velaryon, Selena Velaryon, the future king consort.
Oh, I got cold chills. I normally don't get that during moments like that. I'm excited. Like I said, I love Corlys and Rhaenys. They are just like power couple.
My betrothed.
My betrothed.
At least they're having fun with it. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't think he was invited. God, I always get a pit in my stomach when Daemon appears because I don't know if it's going to be tomfoolery and shenanigans or if it's going to be just him trying to stay level-headed.
With House Targaryen and
What? What? She could have waited until the speech ended.
The beacon on the high tower. Do you know what color it glows when Old Town calls its banners to war?
Let me guess, green.
Green.
Now she's making a statement then. Alicent needs to watch those looks.
I was never much of a dancer.
It's not much different to combat.
I shall hope for a different outcome.
Yeah, I feel like the outcome might still be the same. Oh, a dance number. Okay. Love to see it.
In the Vale, men are made to answer for their crimes.
Oh boy.
Even Targaryens.
Terrible thing. I'm positively bereft. Such a tragic accident.
You know better than anyone. It was no accident.
Are you confessing some guilt, Sir Gerald?
I am making an accusation.
Yeah, I would ease up on that too.
Lady Rhea and I had no heirs, as her husband, whatever she was due, now passes to me. She stood to inherit all of Runestone. Did she not?
Damn. Yeah, everyone knows Daemon killed her. Oh. The other cousin giving eyes? That's not uncomfortable at all.
Has anybody ever told you you're nearly as pretty as your brother?
Oh, you flatter me, my prince.
I know who it is. The handsome paramour. Sir Kristen Cole. This is a good thing. She knows your secret. And now you know hers.
Well, we don't use that for gain. We use that to trust each other.
But we should swear to each other to guard them and their secrets. Because if those are kept safe, then so are we all.
Except somebody else knows. What is going on? Really? Who is Sir Kristen fighting? Oh! Jesus. Oh God. Kristen! Kristen! Oh, what did you do? What did you do? Oh no, Lenore.
Love of the Seven is holy and eternal. Mother.
They're getting married the same night where his love died.
Whatever may come.
Oh, please don't.
I am yours and you are mine.
Please don't.
Whatever may come.
Here, in the presence of gods and men, I proclaim Lenore of House Velaryon to be
Please
man
don't.
and
Please
wife.
don't. Please don't. Just run away.
One heart, one soul, now and forever.
Sir Kristen.
Oh God. Can't anyone on this show ever get married without bloodshed? Like, why does every wedding have to be like this slaughter fest? Oh, well, at least I didn't see him die, but by no means do I think Sir Kristen's getting out of this. I think killing Joffrey. Oh, another Joffrey died at a wedding. Harsh. Anyway, the fact that, he killed Joffrey, I think that there's definitely going to be consequence to that action. I don't know what spurred that, other than him saying oh, we have secrets to keep, and kind of disrespecting him. I don't know what caused him to go into a rage like he did, but I definitely did not want to watch Kristen die. Like, he's just like a very pure person, a very pure heart, and he is in a very difficult position, one that he kind of didn't have any choice. He had to participate. And, he might have had feelings, but he would never have made the move to advance a relationship with Rhaenyra whatsoever. And the fact that she like gave him an opening and an opportunity, and kind of forced him, because the sense of it was that that's his future queen, that's the princess, and he does his duty as she calls him to do. Him wanting to run away with her, like, obviously that's not realistic for her. There's nowhere that she could really go where she could just live a normal life. And she doesn't want to give up what she has. Like, she was always talking about how like it's such this bane of my existence, and he told her there's other people who would love to be in your position, but yet she won't leave the position. Because she could easily just say, I don't want to be heir, and give it to Aegon, if she loved him more than she loved the idea of being queen. And that's the problem. She loves the idea of being queen. She really does. It's not necessarily the name, but more so the power, I think, that comes with it. And I think her and Laenor, like, they had a great little moment when they were out on the beach. I kind of was a little confused. I was like, you prefer duck to goose? I don't know what's going on. And then if they had changed the analogy to like, I prefer sausage to buns or something like that, I would have been like, okay, I see what you're cooking, literally. But I like that she was open enough to say like, hey, like, I know we have to get married, and I know that you have a preference, and you can continue to like that preference as long as you give me my heirs, and I will go and, seek my fun elsewhere. I think that that's actually a really good compromise for the position that they're in. Like, that's making the best of a situation that you don't want to be in. And while I'm still not super comfortable with family members marrying, because she's like, hey cousin, can't wait for our wedding, like it's it's a little gross. It's I think less gross than Daemon, but I still like that chemistry that her and Daemon have. It's potent. And Daemon and Rhea, whatever her name is, from, was it the Vale? Or was it the Eyrie? If the Eyrie is in the Vale, never mind. Blurt. But like, I was like, she's awesome. Like, I would like definitely be like, good choice. And I know it's not the blonde hair, pale skin, Targaryen, Valerian way looking, like maybe that's what he's into, but he was with a brunette like whore. So, like I was like, why wouldn't he want her? I think it was more that she didn't want him. Or maybe they just didn't want each other, because it seemed like they didn't like each other. She didn't want to consummate the marriage either. And what a way for her to go out. And I mean, I don't put it past Daemon to murder his way out of a situation to then get himself into a better situation, because now he's the rightful heir to Runestone. Poor Gerald. Yeah, I was like, hey, maybe don't talk to Daemon that way, because I feel like imminent death is upon you. And when he brings up Runestone and how he will go to the Eyrie to accept it. Yeah. Sit back down, Gerald. Gerald. I don't know. Now, it's really interesting the turn that Alicent took. Now, I know her father leaving was very painful for her, and she's angry at her husband. She's angry at the king. She's angry at Rhaenyra because she thinks Rhaenyra lied. And then when she learns the truth, she's still not happy that it wasn't Daemon, but that like she's been ruined. So her father was correct, but wasn't correct at the same time. And that Rhaenyra is getting away with this when she shouldn't be. Her showing up in the green dress and how that means war on Hightower. Oof. She's bold. I will say that like it seemed like she was very nice and sweet and kind, and I feel like that's been taken advantage of quite a bit by all the people that are in her life, and she's kind of done. She's tired of it. And I like that Lionel Strong was named Hand of the King. I thought he was like definitely, literally the strongest person for that role, when he always had the king's best interest at heart. But I also think that his son, the one that talked to Alicent in the courtyard, I already forget his name, but he's with the crutch. Great body language acting, by the way. I totally buy it. Like if he's not crippled in real life, then I would be shocked because his body language sold it 100%. But he's meddlesome. He's trouble. He is just like Otto was to the king, is now to Alicent, is just kind of putting things in her head. And knowing that the king kept that from her, that like, and I don't know if it was any of her business really. I don't know if the king would have talked to her about Rhaenyra anyway. I don't know if he would have talked to her about Rhaenyra and Daemon, let alone like sending the tea. I don't know if that's really any of her business, but the fact that she knows it, it's being kept from her, and her father has been kind of tossed out. I can see why she has a building chip on her shoulder. She didn't mean for Criston to admit what he admitted to. It's definitely unfortunate for him, and you could see like the guilt just wearing on him and how heavy it was, and him having the talk with Rhaenyra about running away, and her like just being like I can't give this up, like I am the crown, and her reasoning, I like get, but I don't like the way she said it about how like you'd have me give up infamy. Yeah. And I don't know if Criston makes it out of the next episode or not, because with him, almost going to kill himself before Alicent shows up, it's the only thing I could think of is that they have him in the tournament, which, I mean, he just killed somebody, and I don't know what reason he's going to give for that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what he can say that he could get away with. But I'm like, if he could be in the tournament and let himself go that way, I don't know. And I shout out to Corlys and Rhaenys. They're a great couple. They're there for each other. They support each other. There was no shit talking about the king, about the situation. Like Corlys was kind of like seeing how far he could go and what he could actually get out of the deal. Like, oh, all the kids need to have the name Valerian instead of Targaryen, and the king bristled. Fantastic acting moments right there. But I really genuinely enjoy Corlys and Rhaenys, especially Rhaenys. Princess Rhaenys is like, she would have made a great queen. And them having to then like have like this big, party that they're having and everyone's having a good time, and then someone dies. And instead of having this grand wedding in front of everybody with the tournament, now I guess they're not going to have a tournament to save Criston Cole, actually. So they have the wedding in the hall where there's rotting food, blood still on the floor with rats eating flesh, and then the king collapses. So there's a lot heading into this next episode that is, it's going to get nuts. It already is kind of nuts, but like you could really see it building up here. And again, there's no wedding in Game of Thrones that ever goes well. For the love of God. I mean, like, I was like, maybe Lena and Rhaegar, but that was in secret with just someone just performing the marriage. That was it. There was no other people involved. I mean, she dies after childbirth, so there's that. And he's dead too because of Robert. So really curious now that they're married, what that's going to look like. Are we jumping ahead in the future or are we not? What happens to Sir Criston Cole? What's happening to the king? Is he going to pass away, or is he going to be kind of considered like, I was going to say unusable? Is he going to almost be like unable to perform duties as king? And like, would she then become queen because of that? There's a lot of questions. Is Laenor going to forgive Rhaenyra and Criston for his Joffrey being killed the way he did? Now, quite frankly, there hasn't been one Joffrey that I've liked, and I can still say the same. Didn't care for him too much. I did like the love that Joffrey and Laenor had together, but Joffrey's pretty awful. I just say Laenor could probably do better, and he probably will. And I do love that actually Corlys and Rhaenys know about Laenor's, I don't want to say it's a secret because I hate saying that, but like they know his disposition. They know what's going on in their son's life. And, you know, like it's a typical dad to just be like, maybe he'll grow out of it, because he doesn't know what to say in that moment. He doesn't know how to answer it. He's not going to say, oh, that's okay, that's all right. Like that's something he's going to say, but they do seem accepting of their son. And I think they're very aware that like he'll make errors happen. Cousin errors. Cousin kids. Ugh. A cousin son and a cousin daughter. Blech. Yuck. Now, I'm very interested to see what Damon does next episode, because every time he's in an episode, something batshit happens. I really appreciate Damon for that reason. He's very entertaining. And he's still trying to make a play for Rhaenyra, and I'm glad that now she's married, that like maybe that's off the table for him, and he's just got to try something else, something new. Yikes. Okay, guys, if you want to see the full-length reaction to this episode, it will be available on my Patreon, as well as up to one episode early. There's also full-length reactions to other shows that I'm watching, like Vox Machina, Wednesday, The Expanse, as well as other movie reactions over there as well. And in the meantime, like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. What was your favorite part of this episode? Because I got emotional. So I can't say that I cried about Sir Criston, but I will say that I feel so much sympathy for him. It was nice seeing the dragons flying around. The entrance of House Valerian into the dinner was like, gave me cold chills. I seem to be like more so fans of House Valerian than I am for House Targaryen. Oh no. Well, who do you guys like better? Targaryen or Valerian? Because I really like the Valerians. I even like the sister, Lena. Or is it Lyanna? Lena? Lyanna? I don't know. It's whatever Laenor is, but with an at the end. Like, she's pretty. The king had very good choices. Except age-wise was just really uncomfortable. Anyway. With that being said, I'll see ya.